This regular meeting of the Waco Independent School Board is hereby called to order. All items which may be discussed or voted upon this evening have been posted as required by state law. I just really wanted to extend a warm welcome to everyone present and to our television viewers. The board's purpose is to set goals, listen to reports of the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, and personnel appointments, and to make policy for the district. We are not here to make management decisions or solve problems of individuals. Management is the responsibility of the superintendent and her staff. I just want to ask you, please, if you would turn your cell phones to silent if you have not already done so. And we really do appreciate the time that you've taken to join us and for all of your interest in Waco Independent School District. Esta Junta Regular de Waco ISD está convocada. Les extiendo un amable bienvenidos a todos los que están presentes y los que nos observan por televisión. También les quiero compartir con todos sus conferencias están disponibles en la página de Waco ISD YouTube el lunes después la conferencia. En esta página puede escoger su idioma, así toda la información que se fue discutida está disponible para todos. Por favor, apagar su teléfono celular y les agradecemos el tiempo que comparten con nosotros y su interés en Waco ISD. I'm going to read very quickly some of the board ethics that we hold to. Some of the ethical standards that we hold to are trustworthiness and stewardship. That means we as the board will be accountable to the public by representing the district policies, programs, priorities, and progress accurately. We as the Board of Trustees will be responsive to the community by seeking its involvement in district affairs and by communicating its priorities and concerns. We as the district, or as the Board of Trustees, will work to ensure prudent and accountable use of district resources. And we will make no personal promise or take private action that may compromise performance or responsibilities. Moving on to item number 2, public comments. Is there anyone signed up? Okay, great. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, we have one person signed up to speak on one more open agenda item this evening. The board encourages comments about open meeting agenda items from members of the public. Anyone who has signed up to speak in advance of the meeting in accordance with board procedures will do so in accordance with the law, board policy, and board rules. Board rules require that each speaker's comments pertain to an open meeting agenda item. Unless adjusted by the presiding officer, comments by each speaker will be no longer than 3 minutes per the limit from the district's BED local. Please take note of the timer that's displayed on the screen to guide each speaker. When 1 minute remains, you will hear a chime, and when the allotted time has expired, a buzzer will sound. Mrs. Mary Jane Waits. Hi, welcome.
Good evening, Ms. Cordaway, Trustees, and Dr. Kincannon. I'm Mary Jane Waits, and I serve as the Regional Membership Specialist for the Association of Texas Professional Educators here in Region 12. On behalf of the nearly 350 ATPE members of Waco ISD, I want to express ATPE support for the compensation plan outlined in Agenda Item 9. We appreciate the district's desire to provide increases despite the legislator's failure thus far to increase the basic allotment. We also appreciate that while the district is recommending an increase to 0-year teacher pay, administrators are also proposing an additional adjustment at year 1 to ensure a reasonable difference between years of experience. ATPE will continue to advocate for the legislator to increase the basic allotment. Again, we appreciate Waco ISD's continued efforts in support of its current and future employees. ATPE is available to serve as a resource to you at any time in any of your endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Waits. Appreciate that. Move on to agenda item number 3, a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's take our moment of silence first. If you would please pause with me as we take time for prayer, contemplation, reflection, and or meditation. Thank you. Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Go. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if the board members would meet me down in front of the dais, and I do want to say that is one example of leadership everyone knew when they were started, needed to start.
Good evening, Madam President, trustees, and Dr. Kincannon. We're going to begin our special recognitions tonight with our pledge leaders. Each month, one campus selects 2 students to lead the Pledge of Allegiance at the regular business meeting of the Waco ISD Board of Trustees. For the month of July, Crystal Romero from Brick Avenue Elementary was selected for this honor. Crystal's in the 5th grade, and her favorite subject is math. She's a cheerleader and loves to sing and dance. Crystal is a school leader that helps support after-school activities for parents and students. When she grows up, Crystal would like to be a teacher. Thank you to her mother, Miranda Romero, for being here tonight and sharing your amazing daughter with us. Next, we have our UIL Texas State Solo and Ensemble Contest Award winners. All solos and ensembles that received a Division I rating on the Class I selection at the Region Solo and Small Ensemble Contest during the school year were eligible to enter the Texas State Solo and Ensemble Contest. The contest was held on Saturday, May 27th and Monday, May 29th at multiple sites in the Austin area. The district is pleased to share that many of our talented students won gold and silver awards at the contest, and the winners are as follows. University High School Gold Award winner, vocal solo, Serenity Robertson, and Thomas Vidania. Steel Band Ensemble Gold Award winners, Jalen Alley, Nicholas Ashby, Maddox Wheeler, Amante Chop, Oscar Duran, Adrian Gutierrez, Ivy Gutierrez, Archie Hatton V, Gavin Lewis, Casey Murphy Donald, David Pettis Amago, Chase Rhines, Maxie Rodarte, Jesse Rodriguez, William Ruby, Yuridira Salazar, Olivia Sardinetta, Angelo Sardinetta, Marilla Torres, and Ablino Vasquez. And we want to take a group picture. This is the end of the screen. Yes, our amazing band director, Mr. Archie Hatton. Congratulations. Next, our Silver Award Vocal Solo winners, Danasha Bellamy, Levi Dubose, Danita Hernandez, Oliver Houston, Vanya Palacios, Jose Perez, Hazel Solis, and Nala White. Next, we have saxophone quartet, Jacob Dunn, Jose Garcia, Archie Hatton V, and Emmanuel Ogleen, and multiple percussion solo Nicholas Ashby. For Waco High School, we have Gold Award vocal solo Claire Prather, Silver Award vocal solo Jason Carter, Andrea Jacobs-Lendon, and Adam Perez. Saxophone quartet, Adeline Gutierrez, Rayan Montanez, Jorge Nunez, and Brandon Vega. And brass sextet, Juan Camacho, Devin Cook, Thomas Hannigan, Uriel Ramos, Mauricio Rivera, and Emma Worth. And thank you to all of our teachers for being here tonight. Stephanie Asselin, Clinton Bernew, Tyler Sage, and Archie Hatton. Congratulations. Next, we have our International Thespian Excellence Awards. This summer, the University High School Thespian Troupe 1212 and the Waco High School Troupe 2542 traveled to Bloomington, Indiana for the International Thespian Festival. The festival offers opportunities to compete in the International Thespian Excellence Awards, the Thespies. To compete in the festival, students must first qualify at their state chapter level. Students are ranked on their pieces from fair, below standard, good, near standard, excellent, meet standard, and superior, exceed standards. The following students scored overall superior ratings. University High School, Avion Anderson for monologue. Waco High School, Danny Sanders for monologue. The following students scored overall excellent ratings. University High School, Tayrell Thompson monologue. Jamisha Pringle monologue. Jordan Ward monologue. And Daisy Barco monologue. Waco High School, Vianney Ramos and Deidre Brinkley for duet acting. And Lily Howell and Lydia Allen for duet acting. Helen Goodman, solo musical. Sarah Townsend, solo musical. Andrew Eggers, solo musical. Naomi Hammond solo musical. Antonio Laws solo musical. Sarah Townsend, Vianney Ramos, Andrew Eggers, Lily Howell, and Naomi Hammond for group musical. Deasia Lee for stage management. And Lily Howell for scenic design. The following students scored overall good ratings: Will Prather and Luke Townsend for duet musical. Thank you to our amazing teachers for being here tonight: Liz Vermillion, Weiss, Edward Vermillion, and Mrs. Katie Davis from Wake University High School. Thespians unite. Yes. Congratulations. Next, we have our Texas School District Police Chiefs Association Regional Director. The Texas School District Police Chiefs Association began in 1996 when a group of school district police chiefs from Houston and the surrounding area held a luncheon for the purpose of discussing mutual concerns and sharing ideas. In 2001, the group was named the Texas School District Police Chiefs Association. There are 20 geographical regions organized according to the Texas Education Agency's Regional Education Service Centers. Each region is represented by one or more regional directors elected by members or appointed by the Executive Board of Directors for a 2-year term. Chief David Williams has been appointed as Regional Director to represent Region 12. This region includes the counties of Bell, Bosque, Burnett, Coryell, Falls, Freestone, Hamilton, Hill, Lampasas, Limestone, McLennan, Mills, and Navarro. Congratulations, Chief Williams. Congratulations. Next, we have our ESC 12 Bilingual ESL BESA Award winners. In May, the Education Service Center Region ESC 12 hosted the first annual Bilingual ESL Support Ceremony, BESA, to recognize ESL support teachers from a group of top of Texas teachers in the shortage area since 1990, bilingual in English as a second language teachers. Award categories include peer nominations for the TEA's Title III Symposium, team awards, and individual awards. BESA award recipients are as follows: the 22-23 Leader of the Year and 22-23 Title III Influencer, Grace Benson. '22-23 Bilingual Teacher of the Year and 22-23 Title III Influencer, Crisol Villa Flores. And our 22-23 Title III influencer, Maria Antonio. Congratulations. Next, we have our Community Partner Award. Each month, Waco ISD recognizes a community partner making a difference for students with the Waco ISD Award for Outstanding Community Partners. The recognition celebrates the theme for the 22-23 school year, Lead from the Heart, and acknowledges the impact that our community partners make in the lives of our students and staff. In July, the district is recognizing the Hispanic Leaders Network, HLN, a group of passionate leaders who are deeply vested in supporting current and future leaders in the greater Waco community. Here to accept the award is HLN Chair Elaine Boteo, Navigando Mentorship Committee Chair Ilda Sabigo, and HLN board members. As you may have seen in the board packet, HLN is a valued partner to Waco ISD. This partnership includes the Navigando Mentorship Program, a bilingual mentorship program that connects predominantly Spanish-speaking students from Waco High and University High Schools with local bilingual community leaders who serve as mentors. In May, HLN's Navigando membership program took 70 students from University and Waco High Schools to tour Baylor, and that tour was provided in Spanish. HLN's Cultural and Community Engagement Program has also partnered with University High School's culinary and art students who showcase their talent and Hispanic culture at HLN's Las Posadas and Best Tamale in Town contest last fall. Thank you so much for your support. That concludes our special recognitions for this evening. Thank you.
That was so fun.
Hey,
No one wants to stay for all the fun?
Last 4 hours is where all the excitement.
last 4 hours.
That was fun. What you're doing.
I'm ready.
Okay, we will move on to item number 5, Superintendent's Report. Dr. Kincannon.
All right. It's back to school time in Waco ISD, so we're busy preparing for a new school year and some exciting things that are about to happen. First is our Back to School Family Fest, and this is our 11th annual Waco ISD Family Fest, and it will be held on August the 5th, Saturday. And that's just an exciting time for all of our schools and departments to come together as one Waco ISD family, with the goal of greeting our students and really helping everyone start the new school year strong. This year will be different. We're going to have all of our event at the University High School due to the construction at Waco High School. So we'll have separate entrances for University High School and Waco High School with their feeder patterns entering on those entrances. Some happy people. We'll have our mascots, the band, and cheerleaders to welcome our attendees, and then our students who are eligible, who register that day will be able to receive a backpack with supplies. Also, each campus will have a table where parents can verify their enrollment, and they can also get a voucher for a clear backpack. Some other activities on site that day, as we have traditionally done, are vision and hearing screenings, vaccinations, dental screenings, and a meal of hot dogs and chips. So you all are welcome to join in on those festivities on August the 5th, and I believe that is 9 to 12. Someone might nod it and verify that for me, 9 a.m. to noon. All right. The next item is our back-to-school employee convocation, and we are so excited about that. This is the first time we've had one since 2019 with COVID, and it will be held on August the 10th at 9:00 a.m. at the Grand Masonic Lodge, and we'll be celebrating with all of our employees at this event. It's our first time, and we're just super excited about it. So we're going to feature our students and our staff, and we have a speaker coming, Dr. Adolph Brown III, or Doc Brown. Some of you have heard him at a previous school board conference, and we're really excited about his message. We do have parking limitations at the Grand Masonic Lodge, so we will be busing employees from central locations to the venue. I believe that will be University High School and our athletic stadium on New Road. And we'll get information out to our campuses regarding times for that. Doors are going to open at 8 a.m. We will be serving breakfast, and the program will start promptly at 9 o'clock. And I'm excited to kick off this school year with a message, continuing in the work that we started last year with our leadership definition. Last year we focused on leading with heart. We're going to build on that this year by adding leading for results. So very exciting. Last item I have is probably one of the things I'm most excited about, and that is the opening of G.W. Carver Middle School. So this is an 184,000 square foot new building. We had a tight, ambitious timeline, and from the very beginning, and the work continues. We have people out there working 7 days a week, trying to get us ready for the first day of school on August 14th. So at this point, we are targeting August 7th for most of our teachers to get into their classrooms, and that's the main classroom areas of the building, as well as the library and the cafeteria. And then athletics area, the wing that has the extracurricular classrooms for fine arts and athletics. We're targeting Saturday, August 12th. So not a lot of time for teachers to get in those rooms. And so we'll be doing some things to help our fine arts and athletics teachers out. And we appreciate their patience. It's going to be worth it. I was out there today, and I did see the band hall and the choir room, and they're looking good. So it will be great. Also saw the competition gym. The floor is down, should be varnished soon, and it will be ready for the start of school. There are some spaces, however, that may need additional time for completion, and we're going to see how that goes over the next week and a half. But we prioritize those areas, and art classrooms art may need to be held in a couple of our science labs, and our dressing rooms may not quite be ready. Also, they're just installing the sod in the back of the school for the football field, and that's going to need a little bit of time to take root. So Coach Love has a backup plan for practicing, I think, over close to Estella Maxey. However, students and the coaches will be able to use the weight room and the brand new 8-lane track, which will be very nice. On Saturday, August the 12th, we have a plan to be on hand, district administrators in a couple of shifts to help our teachers prepare for their new spaces, and our architects will be providing lunch for the staff at 11 o'clock a.m., and then students and families will be coming in at noon to pick up their schedules. And I believe Transformation Waco is also planning a lunch in the park for the students there. So we invite our board members to join us that day, either for assisting teachers or just for coming for lunch, whatever you prefer to do. So I'm excited. It's not the smoothest start or opening of a new school building that I've experienced, but it is a beautiful building. And I think our kids and staff are going to be really happy in it. And we're just looking forward to that. We'll plan a special dedication ceremony this fall, but I'd like to wait until we have the final art project done by our historical advisory committee. And our artist is Skip Rawls, who has designed just a beautiful piece of art that will go in the entryway in honor of G.W. Carver. So I'd like to have that in, and so that date will be determined in the future. Also, we have a couple of art pieces that were designed by two of our AP art students at Waco High School. They'll go in the lobby of the school, and they're big, like big 5x8 art renderings of J.J. Fluellen and G.W. Carver. And those are important people that our historical advisory committee wanted to honor in that particular space. And I believe those are made out of metal and wood, and they're going to be really cool. And I can't wait to see them. So if you have any questions about those, I'll be happy to answer anything you want to know.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Kincannon. I actually did a walkthrough yesterday, and I was just taken back at the level of detail to design. I mean, I think some of the materials that I was looking at in the school building, I thought, oh, man, I would love to have this in my own house. Just really beautifully thought out and designed. So I really just want to thank architects and core and our facilities. I know it is not the ideal situation, but it's getting done, and it is really going to be something special for our teachers, our administration, and our students. And I think one of the main things that I would remember hearing that kind of resounded when we started doing the facilities planning with about 80 community members from all over was, we want our kids to feel valued, and we want them to feel like they have a sense of pride in what campus they go to, and that the community takes pride in them. And I'm really hoping that I know that this building will help them feel that sense of value and pride. Yeah, I'm really excited. So, moving on to item number 6, information items and reports. Is there anything that you would like to pull or discuss, Trustee Grant? Trustee Davis? Nothing? Mr. Vidania? Mr. Guillory?
No.
Mr. Ochoa? No. And Mr. Patton?
No.
Okay. Moving on to consent agenda. Item number 7. Is there anything to be pulled? Okay, hearing none. I will entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Vidania. Second. Mr. Grant, do you have any discussion? Mr. Davis, any discussion? Mr. Vidania, any discussion? Mr. Guillory, any discussion?
No.
Mr. Ochoa, any discussion? No. Mr. Patton, any discussion?
No.
Okay, I will entertain a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously. Moving on to item number 8. Review, discuss Kendrick and South Waco Elementary School Design Development Update. Mrs. Barrera. And architects.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Kincannon, members of the board. In our last board meeting in June, we requested and received approval of schematic design for South Waco Elementary School. This evening, O'Connell Robertson will be providing a design development update on both Kendrick Elementary School and South Waco Elementary School. Both construction managers at risk, Masonic Construction and BWC Education Group, are developing cost estimates for the plans you will see this evening. We're expecting these estimates early next week. After we have a chance to review the proposed cost, we'll return to you at a subsequent meeting for final approval of design development and the associated cost. Well, I was going to say Doug is here, but wow, we got Doug and Andrew and Patricia and Jana all here to walk us through design development.
This is fun.
Good evening.
Dean.
So, pardon our mess. No, we're very excited to be here this evening. We're giving you all a design update. We just wrapped up the design development phase for both of these projects, so very excited. I do want to just take a moment to recognize and introduce, I think, some new faces. You've seen Patricia and Jana, but Andrew is a project manager with our team as well, who I think he came up last time and I forgot to introduce him, so I didn't want to miss that opportunity today. But we'll step through some updates for both South Waco and Kendrick, and as well as just, again, run over a quick highlight of the schedule. So we'll start with South Waco. This has updated a little bit since our last discussion. Working with our construction manager, we're still continuing to refine that construction area on this site. And so as we continue those discussions, they're whittling it down and getting to a point where we're continuing to reduce the impact, we think, for those baseball and softball fields. We're not 100% sure exactly where that final construction fence line is going to fall, but we're really trying to reduce that footprint to minimize the impact to their fields. So we'll continue to track that through design and make sure everybody's aware. But as it looks right now, that's a positive, and then you'll see kind of in the middle below the existing campus, looks like we'll actually be able to keep the existing playground online during construction. So again, just trying to improve the temporary conditions and not have too much disruption or minimize the disruption during construction. Other than that, no major changes on site here. Addition and as planned previously, but just wanted to take the time to make sure everybody got to see it. And any questions on the site?
So we won't destroy any fields.
We're not 100% sure, but that's what we're targeting. So they're still, I think there was, at the very most, it was the two on the furthest east. Right now, our latest phasing diagram, we're trying to see if we can get away from those fields as much as we can. So I don't want to commit to anything yet, but we're leaning in that direction. So we're very hopeful. Again, floor plan update, just wanted to share, just continuing to make those developments. So we've been at a little bit higher design level. Now we're stepping into the details. We're going to start, making sure we have all the square footages right, all the parts and pieces are included in each classroom. We're looking at, a little bit more detail now as we step into the CD phase. But again, nothing major as far as changes or anything on the South Waco campus. We're just continuing to provide that next level of detail in the drawings. And then as we talk about phasing, I do want to just take a moment specifically for South Waco, since it will be an active campus. We are looking to break this into 3 phases, so I apologize that phase 3 is really kind of a phase 2 overlap in the red there. But on the left of your image, you'll see what we're calling phase 1, and that's the new construction work. That's generally going to take about 12 months. So from January of 2024 to January of 2025, we anticipate that new work to occur. Phase 2 is planned to start January 25. So that would allow the students and the staff in the existing facility to vacate those rooms in green, move into the new building because it'll be done, and they can, the contractor can take over that green area, and they will have roughly 7 months to complete the renovations of that work. So what this does is it creates a clear separation of construction and student-teacher activities. It also, it gives the construction manager a little bit more time to make sure that those renovations go smoothly. Trying to cram in work over a summer can be really difficult, especially with ordering materials and getting things on site in time. So we're able to sit down with the campus and the principal and the PEC group and we'll talk through this plan. And it aligns really well with getting things done and minimizing the impact to the existing campus. And then you'll see the smaller box on the bottom right of your image in red. It's what we're calling phase 3. I think it says 2 on the image, but it should say phase 3. That is the summer work renovation scope. So green and red will actually overlap in time, but they won't start red until the summer. And so those classrooms will not have students in them when that work is occurring. So then the fall 25, students come back and it's a fully completed project. It's a lot of images up on the screen, so does anybody have any questions on that?
Doug, I actually have a question. I know that we had talked about the gym being an alternate, looking at budget, but knowing how desperately South Waco needs a gym.
We're still tracking it as an alternate to get that price.
Okay.
We intend to accept as much of this scope as we can, but we know that the scope of work and the cost challenges that we're continuing to experience. We just want to make sure that we have an opportunity where we're seeing all the costs for the different parts and pieces, the different renovations, the different phases, and the different packages that we're issuing. So we are going to continue to track that as an alternate, with the intent that we absolutely know that's a priority, and we would want to take that.
So is that, sorry for one more question, is that going to be in with the initial phase of the new? Okay.
So we would know at the beginning whether or not we are going to accept that.
Great. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That would be by January. We'll be making some decisions by January on the budget,
Okay, great.
on GMP,
Great.
or maybe not GMP.
This is maybe minutia, but in phase 2, you're getting rid of the cafeteria and the kitchen.
Yes, sir. So we have spoken with the food service director, and we are tentatively planning for some food trucks to help serve the campus for that spring semester. So this is, unfortunately, it does take their cafeteria down online, but if we're able to take that gym
One semester.
alternate and accept that, then that could serve as a temporary cafeteria facility while that's being renovated, and it would only be down for the spring of 2024.
Another small question. While this is being done, is the playground going to be still in use?
There is one playground in the back that will remain open, where they've determined that their construction fencing does not need to enclose that. There is some existing basketball courts, I think, that will fall into the construction zone, but there will be a playground accessible.
Doug, I am really impressed with your knowledge of the building in detail, yeah. So thank
No
you.
work in progress. The one program will be displaced for one semester, and that'll be our Future Educators Academy. They can still come to the campus and be in the classrooms with students working, but they won't have their own classrooms there for their coursework. For one semester, they'll have to be on the high school campuses. So we'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, so I went back to the floor plan, those orange classrooms in the bottom right that you kind of see just next to the word floor plan, or the words floor plan, those are the 4 P-TECH classrooms. They will need to become grade level classrooms during construction, but we do have space for P-TECH at the end of the project. And then the fun stuff. So want to make sure we always include the exterior imagery as well. Some of this, we brought some initial renderings, but just wanted to show some further development to y'all. Again, trying to maintain some of that existing language with the exterior architecture, but really make sure that entry is identified very clearly. using some overhangs to start to highlight where that entry vestibule is and for students and parents to come to the building. And then I believe we have a little video here. Not sure if they need to play it or they might just be more images. The PowerPoint didn't have the videos? It was. Oh. We might need to work on that in the background while we walk through the floor plan update, but we'll skip through because the interiors ones are also very exciting. Want to make sure that we get a chance to present those. And those are all videos. So while they're working on that, I'll just jump over to Kendrick, kind of walk through the same information, and then we can come back to it. Again, just wanted to share the site plan. This is for Kendrick. No major changes here. Again, we're just continuing to work with our engineers and our team to develop the site design. We're working through the sizing of the detention pond, making sure that everything we're doing on site is maintaining all the trees that we can keep. We are still planning to maintain those up against Kendrick Lane as much as we can. So we know that's important. New parking lot, parent drop-off, dedicated bus loop, some parking there in the back for your kitchen and your janitorial staff. And then, of course, over on the side, your fire lane there, just above the soccer field, and some additional playground space. So again, no major changes there. Just wanted to make sure everybody had a chance to see that. And now my clicker doesn't work.
I have a question.
Sure.
For Dr. Cannon. Are we, as far as, deceleration lanes and permits and things, is the city being supportive in what we need so far?
Yes, I met with the city manager and we talked about the deceleration lane at South Waco. We've had multiple meetings about Carver and inspections and such, and they've been very supportive. Yep. And really coming through for us here at the end. So, yeah, thankful for that.
Again, floor plan, you'll see a little bit more detail here on the Kendrick floor plan. We're starting to get through some of the details of our individual spaces and those layouts. So you'll see the kitchen has started to populate with some equipment. We're working with both the PEC and the food service team with Waco ISD to make sure that we're hitting all of their goals and requirements. And then, again, no really major updates to the floor plan here, just trying to get into that next level of detail for CDs. And then the exterior. So again, just wanting to show those updates for the various exterior elements on the building. We've got some nice shaded outdoor space, the entry canopy there on your top image for your student drop-off. And your bottom left, we're starting to work through the design of the library courtyard. So some really nice outdoor space near the library to get kids outside and have some of that outdoor learning occur, as well as at the back of the school. That rear courtyard image on the bottom, again, just some minimal landscaping and trees to really activate that space. And then on the bottom right, your outdoor dining next to your cafeteria, so getting opportunity for kids to dine outdoors. Got it? Oh, we did. Maybe.
Yeah, I have one question.
Yeah.
I love the way it looks. Are we doing something similar for South Waco, outdoor dining, a library area kind of thing for outdoors?
There's some existing space right now. There's actually a portable in part of the courtyard, the area that's near the existing cafeteria. So when we pull that portable away from the campus, we're hoping there's going to be enough space, and it's pretty flat. And so I think we're just going to do some minor flat work adjustments there to be able to put some tables out there and have some space for outdoor dining, because it is within the fenced area of the school.
And I believe I asked this last meeting, but I want to be sure. There won't be portables on either of those campuses when we're through.
Correct.
But there will be some outdoor space for South Waco for the library and for dining.
Yes, we do have They're not in the same area, but we do have dedicated outdoor.
Center of the library at South Waco is at the front.
Yeah, there's some courtyard area that's created between the new and the existing building. It's a little bit smaller, but it does create a nice intimate outdoor area for.
It'll be within the fence.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to fence off the area between the existing and the new, so they can have some outdoor space. And then there's a larger space actually near the library and as well the pre-K kinder wing, which is where the tricycle track is. We're gonna do some landscaping out there, so just more opportunities for outdoor learning.
Thank you.
Did the video go away?
In the meantime, yeah, we can talk about some of the materials on the exterior. So this is South Waco. So we're going to be matching the existing brick. So nothing new there, but we were able to color match that brick, and then we're going to pull in a little bit of limestone there at the main entry to really help identify that. And then we're using metal panels to, provide that accent around the top as well as for some of the canopies. So, keeping it very, very warm, very inviting. And then on the other panel on the ground there, you'll see is the materials for Kendrick. So we're using 2 colors of masonry, brick veneer, really trying to bring some of that mid-century warmth that the PEC was asking for. And then as well, looking at a metal panel up in some of the higher volumes where, kids aren't going to be able to hit it with a skateboard or a backpack, keep it out of reach, but help lighten some of that structure and load, bring a little bit more color to the elevation.
Hey, hey.
Hey, this is it.
Perfect timing.
What we've been waiting for.
So this is South Waco, flying around your front entry here. So as we spin around the building, you get a good look at what students and staff are going to see as they approach the building. We do like to jazz it up with some extra landscaping here now and then. So we'll be working with our landscape architect on that. But as we come around this side of the building, just want to highlight the area for the tricycle track. So we're going to have some trees, again, showing a little exaggerated landscaping there, but nice outdoor area behind the fence line to give those kids some outdoor space to get outside and play. And then in the middle there, we're actually planning for some artificial turf, so really low maintenance. We'll run it for you one more time. But again, very simple architectural approach, really identifying that main entry on the corner with your admin wing and your library there. Lots of great natural light coming in off that north side. And then you'll see the fence there that delineates your secure line. And then as you get behind that, around the corner of the building, that tricycle track really opens up to your younger grade levels.
So that was a gate by the tricycle track?
Yes,
Fence?
there's a gate there on the fence, yeah. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jana. We might bounce back and forth a little bit. Or Patricia, sorry.
Yeah, so we are walking into the existing campus, the renovated portion. That is luxury vinyl tile on the floor to just really bring in that warmth that these teachers and staff have been talking about so much. Each neighborhood is identified by a color in these mountains on the wall. The concept for the whole school is a children's storybook. And so we want them to feel like they're walking into a storybook.
Right here inside the circle, it looks like constellation. Is that fabric?
It sure is, yes.
Was that in one of the schools we saw? Yeah.
Really make it feel like you're in a fairy tale. You've got your 2 different luxury vinyl tile patterns to start indicating the walk lines, and then we're going to end on one of those new collaboration spaces. That's that small amount of renovation within the existing building.
Will the places that we don't touch be painted?
Yes, in their entirety. New ceiling, new floor, new paint.
We're touching everything.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So here we're walking out of the library In the new addition, you have some clouds, a display case, you have your tile wainscot for wall protection, you see those circle windows on the left into your makerspace. Here's this lobby with the trike track outside of it, lots of flexible furniture. And these arches are indicating the walking into the neighborhood. So this is walking into pre-K and kinder. You're seeing those mountains on the wall, lots of tacks so they can display. And then we're walking to a collaboration space with some writable. Their homework is due there on the board, lots of flexible furniture, teacher amenity station, a sink for them, and lots of storage for those teachers. This display tackable in front of us again. These acoustical clouds that are actually cloud shapes are a felt material, just to give it that whimsical fairy tale feeling. Is this a lockdown door here? It is, yes. Start to see a little bit of that transparency in and out of the classroom, not too much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So here we're at the front door. We're starting in the vestibule, and we're going to walk into the library. You've got this surround, really identifying it, a little bench outside. This is the carpet. That's your makerspace beyond the operable partition. We're reusing your existing furniture that was recently purchased. You've got some more acoustical clouds to feel like that tree with the pendants and all your book stacks.
A vending machine.
The book vending machine, yes.
I have a question. Are all the bookshelves on wheels?
Everything within the center of the library is on wheels. Everything on the perimeter is stationary. You can move it, but it's not on wheels.
That's cool. So the librarian will be able to.
Flex all over the place. Everything's going to be flexible. They can move it around as much as they want. Those windows straight ahead of us are the front windows, so you'll see kind of into the library as you're dropping off students.
Is that like a 12-foot ceiling in there?
It's around 12 or 13 feet, yes. We're going to go back to that collaboration center we saw in the new edition. We're going to look at some of the same stuff again, but then we're going to see and look into the makerspace. See the other angle of that front lobby. The trike track is outside those windows on the left, and then here you have your makerspace. There's going to be overhead cord reels for power. Again, flexible furniture, tons of storage and sinks available.
Mm-hmm.
Those colors identifying each neighborhood to help with the wayfinding within this campus gets big for those little kids, so they know I'm in the blue neighborhood or I'm in the green neighborhood. And then straight down that hallway is going back to your existing building. That's all of South Waco. Oh, there is an existing cafeteria.
Mm-hmm. Cafeteria.
So here we're at your old front entry. Well, it is your current one right now. You've got a display case on the left. We're totally filling it in. We're going to keep the murals that are there in the benches, and then all new flooring, new acoustical panels, new ceiling. You start to see those mountains again, and then your stage has been pushed back and has a whole new tree surround around that platform. Mm-hmm.
Do you have on your video, where's the office? Is it opposite of the library?
It is opposite the library, yeah.
I didn't see it.
Sure does. Mm-hmm.
One more question when it comes to your stage. Is it going to have the stage lighting that most of the campuses have?
Yeah, it'll be
Theater
your
lighting?
typical elementary school theater lighting. It's pared down from the middle school or high school
And the
level.
sound system?
There'll be a full sound system.
Good deal.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr.
I
Gill.
don't know if Jared's not here, maybe you can answer it for me, but can you, along with the lockdown doors, what other security features did y'all add here?
An excellent question. I'm going to let Doug answer that.
So I don't know, do we want to go back to the floor plan? This will work. And so kind of like we talked about, we have the lockdown doors that we already mentioned in each classroom neighborhood. And so all the areas that you see in blue on the right and the top of your image, each one of those pods is able to be individually locked down.
Oh, is that activated with the switch?
It is, yeah.
or-
So it's on, they're called magnetic hold opens. And when the security system is activated, those doors shut. And that'll happen all around the campus. So you'll be able to lock down each grade level individually. And then we're also going to be following the same standards that we did and that we're doing at the middle schools and the high school. So you'll have your new 8-foot perimeter fencing, and then you'll have the security glazing on the front side that faces outward that's not behind that fence. So there's the exterior layer protection, secure entry vestibule, and then you have your lockdown at your neighborhood.
Is that button, is that one local location, or is that available in every area as far as the security switch or button that you're speaking of?
That's a good question. I don't know exactly where we have the locations of those buttons off the top of my head. I know we have one in the admin with where the principal is, and I'd have to go double check. We can definitely get you that answer.
Because I believe the legislators are looking at moving that into every room. So I didn't know if you were getting ahead of that and putting that inside every classroom.
Yeah, through DDs, we're still working through with our technology consultant on all the features because we haven't even talked about security cameras, which there are many of here as well. And so we'll be sure that because we've had a meeting with Chief Williams as well and safety and security with Waco ISD. So we'll be sure to address that and make sure we're aligned with the district standard on that. But we for sure have one in the front, and I just don't remember off the top of my head where we've got the rest of them.
Okay.
We'll follow up on that.
Technology, is that something that could be electronically controlled by all the admin or teachers? I would guess that it would be going to pads or phones or.
Are you talking about the lockdown? Yes, there's actually quite a bit out there that can be done, whether it's through a phone, whether it's through a physical button, a combination of both. So again, we're continuing to work with safety and security with the district as well as Waco ISD PD in developing that solution together. So once we get further into design, we'll be sure to come back with a little more information on that.
Have y'all done a layout of the office area?
We do have a layout of the administration wing, yes. It's pretty accurate in this image, it's just at a very small scale.
So when you come in, you'll go to the right to that first square to check in, correct?
So there's a secure
What's
entry
across
vestibule.
by the library then? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah.
What's across on the other side by the library in red showing that it's admin as well?
Yes, that's, they have a community room on campus. That was a request from the PEC group. So it's a room that would allow meetings and community members to come to the campus, but not necessarily have direct access to the campus. So they could have a meeting up front with admin, parents, students, whoever is invited to that, and it would have a door from the vestibule, but they don't have to go into the corridor in order to get to that room.
Okay.
Similar to Carver, there's that space at the front of Carver as well, right inside in the lobby area.
So in your waiting area, yes, you have also access to a restroom that is accessible from that waiting area. So again, parents and visitors aren't having to go, pass by the principal's office and get to a restroom. They have one that's accessible to the public.
I have a question. You mentioned that the glazing was going to be on the outside windows where it wasn't fenced in. So the areas that it is fenced in, it won't be that glazing on the windows.
Yes, so the standard we're following is with the updated TEA guidelines behind your 8-foot perimeter fence. You're not required to provide that safety and security glazing on your exterior windows.
So because we weren't required, we're deciding not to put the glazing on the inside.
Yeah, so right now, that's the approach we've taken on all the campuses.
It's secure when there's fencing.
Are there restrooms in each classroom?
There are restrooms in the pre-K, kinder, and first, and then all your upstairs grade levels have access to group restrooms.
So it's like for 5th grade, there's one restroom, well,
So the-
obviously a boys and girls restroom.
Correct. So each of these classrooms on the ground level here will have direct access to an individual restroom in each classroom. And then upstairs, you've got restrooms throughout this main corridor that serve all the grade level pods. Those are group restrooms.
So they are group restrooms upstairs.
Yes.
What about art? Looking at art in the cafeteria. Cafeteria, they go to the alternate gym for the restroom?
No, there's restrooms they have restrooms in this area as well. So there's a group of restrooms that serve the cafeteria. So there's a large group of restrooms here. And then, again,
Art?
we're not showing all the locations, but gymnasium,
Art?
gymnasium does. I think right now, this shared restroom is probably the closest one to art. So it's a similar walking distance for for any of the other grade levels that use a group restroom.
I mean, in 4th and 5th grade, yeah. For the younger ones, maybe not so. Thanks.
Where are the elevators located at on this diagram?
So you have it's a little gray box right here next to your computer lab. So that takes you upstairs directly in the middle of your shared corridor that accesses your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade.
And that's near the entrance, like when you come
It's-
into the school?
It's relatively near the entrance. It's down the main corridor here. So your entrance is here. So it is down this main stretch of corridor, which in plan looks long, but it's maybe 15, 20 seconds to get to this portion here. It does put you nice and centered in the 2nd level.
Is that where students are planning to be dropped off? Like if I'm a student that's in a wheelchair, will I be dropped off at this main entrance or would I be dropped off at the back of the school or another location?
So the main drop-off occurs at the front door, and then there is a dedicated bus loop around the back. And so we do have a pair of doors here on the back of the campus near the stairwell. Kind of hard to see them, but they're right there. And that also, you can get into the building from that side.
Gotcha. And would that be about the same distance from the bus drop-off entrance as the
It's
front
pretty
entrance?
similar. Yeah, there's also entrances into the cafeteria from the bus drop-off. So if you're wanting to stage students in that cafeteria before school, you've got that access as well. Any other questions?
How many bathrooms for 4th?
Oh, Mr. Patton, hold on one second. Keith Guillory.
sorry.
Mr. Guillory had a
I
question.
believe you answered this when on Trustee Davis' last question. I just want to be clear. The entryway is meeting TEA standards as well as the vestibule? Okay, just wanted to be clear. All right, thanks.
Sorry, Keith, I didn't mean to speak over you.
No.
2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, how many bathrooms on that 2nd floor?
I think
The video of Kendrick.
there's two groupings. So you have a pair of boys and girls spread throughout that corridor.
So
I
is
wanna
there
say
boys
each
and
of
girls
them
for
has-
5th grade, boys and girls for 4th grade?
No, they share, so there's a grouping here, and there's a grouping kind of down towards these pods, and there's, I think, 5 in each of those. So you're looking at 20 to 25 fixtures up there. We're following all the minimum plumbing requirements for International Building Code and Plumbing Code.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have a video of Kendrick?
I think we do.
Okay.
Not on the Mac.
On the Mac? Not on the Mac, okay.
Oh, that's an interior.
And the color board is the left color board.
Correct. So we just walked in the front entry, and there's a display case directly in front of us, and we're going to walk into the cafeteria, but first we're going to look down towards the art and music wing, and then we're going to turn the corner. We're going to go past one of those group restrooms for the cafeteria, hand wash stations in the hallway. I'll walk straight through these doors into the cafeteria. You've got tile wainscot to help with cleanability, polished concrete floors. This is the deep grind polished concrete, similar to what's in Carver's Commons right now. And some pendant lighting, and you see that stage surround over there as well. Get a quick glimpse down that hallway towards the elevator in the library. Again, display case. Lots of tack available for the art program down there so they can pin up all down that hallway.
This is fairly mid-century.
Yes. You've got your kitchen serving lines on the left there. Acoustical panels towards the back. This is an exposed ceiling above painted green with this acoustical ceiling tile cloud within the cafeteria. Yes. It's going to help a whole lot. We're going to go back and look at a few things we've already seen. That's the ramp on the left up to the platform. Your Inspiración classroom is on the right. We're going to turn and go to the library. You've got a tree with more acoustical clouds, and your rocking chairs from the existing campus are being brought over. And then we're going to walk directly into the library, very cottage feeling as we're walking in. Your circulation desk, really high ceilings in here again. Your read aloud area with a puppet stage available for them. That glass is the front entrance of the school, and then you have a door out towards the library courtyard.
Is that glass in the library fenced in? Or is it front facing?
Portions of it are, portions of it face the front. There's portions that do with the security.
On the walls is plastic laminate for wall protection. It's called a PSI system. You've got a little bit of stained concrete defining that area right there. That window up above is looking into the second floor. You've got your makerspace off to the right with direct access into the makerspace from the library and direct access into your computer lab from the library as well. Mobile, flexible furniture here again. Everything in the center here is mobile. And you've got your teaching area for at least 25 students.
Those windows look like Keebler Elves.
Now we're going to walk out of the library. We're going to take a left, and we're going to go towards that two-story wing. Right ahead of us is the entrance to the SPED neighborhood. And then we've got our monument stair with the colors of the neighborhoods on the second floor, the green, orange, pink, and yellow. Those are terrazzo stairs with a wood bench at the bottom, green painted railing with some wood slats to really bring in that warmth and bring you up into that second floor. This will likely be the main stair that they're using day to day.
But there's two sets of stairs?
There are two interior stairs, yes. And then that door is what would go out towards your bus loop and playgrounds. Then we're going to turn around. We're going to go walk into the first grade neighborhood. You see these green or blue and orange surrounds identify each neighborhood, again, by color. We have tack strips and plastic laminate wall covering on the walls to help protect those. You got the green and blue identifying your neighborhood. Straight ahead was that other closed-in stair. And then this is your collaboration space. So lots of tack, rideable surfaces, a closed-in collaboration room in the blue, again, a teacher amenity station, just like South Waco with a sink and storage available for them. It is polished concrete, yes. All through this main corridor is the deep grind, and then once you enter into the neighborhood itself, it changes to the regular finish.
Similar to Carver.
So this is the blue neighborhood. That visibility in and out of the classroom again, a leaf pattern at the back there, visibility into that collaboration room, and lots of rideable and tack in there as well. Doug, I'll let you talk through these.
You sure you don't want to talk? And there's more. So on the exterior, we're gonna look here at your two-story volume, and you can see how we got the classroom wings that sort of flank the library, and so that is your library courtyard. You can see there on the left, and then you're gonna end up actually facing your main entry. So we brought that canopy down a little bit in scale, give it a nice human approach, not feel super dominating as you approach the building, but very welcoming, very warm. Again, you can see those masonry colors playing with the darker and the lighter brick, using that metal panel banding above, and then just around the library, accenting that with a little bit of curtain wall, having a little bit more fun with the glass and the openings into there, bringing in tons of natural light that actually faces, I think, almost directly north. So you're gonna get really great indirect light into that library. And then as you look around towards the back of the building, this is that main staircase that Patricia was talking about. So when you come out of that staircase, great outdoor learning area. Some trees, some seating areas for a class or two. You're gonna have some nice minimal landscape for maintenance, but again, providing some trees that'll help shade some of those areas. And then, I don't know if we're gonna watch that one again. Yeah, so we got some outdoor sidewalks that connect those neighborhoods on the exterior. Lots of glass on that stair tower to bring the light into the corridor.
We have an exterior staircase at every wing.
Yes, on those 4 pods upstairs do have for egress to, but those exterior ones, they're going to be very simple, durable, and then just some still images of those areas.
Those are the staircases just for fire escape.
And they will, I mean, your exterior doors will have card readers on them, so they could be used for convenience, since especially the ones in the rear are actually, they're all fenced in kind of back towards where your playgrounds are. So if teachers on the second level just want to take their kids straight outside and not have to cut back through the neighborhood, they do have that option.
What's the top height of the first little windows?
At the very top?
That are hanging out, and then I just think that would be enticing for a kid to get up on top of.
Oh, they're well above where a kid would be able to jump up and grab onto. They're at the top of the head, which is usually 9 or 10 feet. And there's slats like for shade, so they're not actually a solid surface for them to.
You can't reach it, Jim, sorry. Beautiful, guys, beautiful.
This building layout, I mean, design, the outside is stunning.
Thank you.
Almost like you put an Apple store.
Write that one down. All right. And that's it for our update today. We really appreciate y'all's time. And of course, any other questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Here's a quick update on our schedule. Again, construction starting at both campuses at the beginning of 2024.
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Davis.
When will we know, is it the beginning of 2024, if we will need to use, I guess, the fields at the existing fields that are there? When will we know for sure if we won't be touching them or if we will?
For South Waco?
Yes.
We'll continue to develop that through contract documents. I would suspect by kind of mid to late August, we'll have a pretty good understanding from the contractor on their phasing and where they're going to need laydown area. So we can bring an update. We'll continue to bring updates as we figure that out further.
Good. Thank you.
Well, thank you, guys. It
y'all
is
very much.
great work, so we really appreciate it. Thank you, guys, for presenting. Okay.
You want to acknowledge Isabel? Thank Isabel and everyone.
Yeah, I would really want to thank the administration, Ms. Lozano, and just everyone who's kind of put in input into this. This is really I remember thinking, we had gone on an elementary tour and thinking, man, we really want a school to be like the Mayborn, where it's like ignites curiosity, and I think we've just seen that in the design. So thank you so much for all of your input. Thank you guys for listening and implementing that, and we're just really excited. I think just looking at the design, I'm like, kids are gonna wanna go to school because it just feels exciting. So,
I don't
thank you.
think we had some, I had how many meetings? 14, 15 meetings with Mrs. Lozano at the, at the project executive committee level, as well as others in the room and Mrs. Frazier. It was a lot of time spent on it.
I remember walking through, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 campuses, new schools, and thinking if our kids could have something like this, it would be fantastic. And this is better than most of what we saw,
Yep.
if not all of it. So it's going to be so good for the students.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 9, review, discuss, take appropriate action regarding the 2023-2024 compensation plan. Dr. Lopez, that's you.
Good evening, Madam President, Dr. Cannon, members of the board. As per DEA local, the superintendent is required to bring you an annual compensation plan for all district employees. If you remember at the June board meeting, TASB HR Services provided you a maintenance study review. And let me just remind you a few of the recommendations from TASB. They've recommended that we implement the pay structure adjustments to align with market, improve starting salaries, midpoint alignment with market, align jobs within the structures, adopt a general pay increase. They gave you 3 models of 1%, 2%, and 3%. We're here today to bring you the 3% model. Also for teacher structures, for their raises, the percentage of the market median salary was $58,149. For other pay groups, the general pay increase calculated as a percentage of the employee's pay grade amount, which is the average of a 3% of that midpoint in which that employee is in. Also make adjustments to address market differences and maintain equity. Increase to 1% above the minimum. So after a 3% is applied to those employees who are still under the minimum, under the midpoint, an additional 1% will be received as an additional adjustment to their salary. Teacher pay equity adjustment, and this will go to those teachers who have a year of experience and are moving to 1, so that they're not compressed with the 0-year raise that's coming in. And that adjustment for them, or that increase for them, would be a $1,850 adjustment for them. And then we did placement scale adjustments for our hourly employees, which were our focus this year. Let me also read this because this is important. It is in the board document, but I do want to read it for the record. Salary ranges in this pay schedule do not reflect any statutorily required salary requirements enacted by the Texas legislature in the 80th session or subsequently called special sessions. As additional special sessions are expected, it may be necessary to adjust salaries for the 2023-2024 school year in response to legislative changes. Impacted district employees will receive written notice of salary adjustments, if any, which may require additional board action at a later time. Our proposed salary increases are as follows. Our market rate is $53,200 for teacher salaries. So teachers will receive a 3% of market GPI equal to $1,750 increase per continuing teacher based on 187 workdays. The 0-year teacher pay increases by $1,550 from currently $51,475 to $52,975. While that doesn't get us to the market rate, it does increase this less $225, so that we will hopefully get there next year at the market rate. Additional adjustments are, as I stated, would be made to the teachers who have completed their first year for equity purposes. Administrative personnel, paraprofessional, and auxiliary employees will receive a general pay increase of 3%, an average of 3% of the appropriate pay grade midpoint. The 2 areas which I said we focused on this year, paraprofessionals and auxiliary pay. Paraprofessional pay grades will increase in that 201 pay grade from $12.10 to $12.50. And our pay grade 202 minimum raise from we're recommending from $13.90 to $14 per hour. That gets us less dollar closer to the living wage in Waco, but we're getting closer. The minimum, midpoint, and maximum of all paraprofessional pay grades from 201 to 209 have been adjusted to reflect higher starting hourly rates. Our auxiliary pay grade group, 301 minimum, increased from $11.28 to $12 per hour. And pay grade 302 minimum raised from $12.29 to $14 per hour, again getting closer to that $15. The minimum, midpoint, and maximum of all auxiliary pay grades 301 to 311 have been adjusted to reflect the higher starting hourly rates. Some in this group, the auxiliary group, may receive an average of 6% to 12% in the range based on years of experience. So they will get more than 3% depending on where they are. While we're raising to $14, we also want to honor those who have been in our system and move them up the scale as well. Also, in that group, returning officers paid less than the midpoint of their pay grade are receiving a total general increase ranging from 10 to 13%. So those police officers who've been with us that have been paid below the midpoint will get an excess of 10 to 13% depending on where they are years of experience.
Add to that,
Yes, ma'am.
our goal was to get our police officers up to that 100% of market value, and so that's why that's a little bit higher. And you'll understand that when we have presentation later on House Bill 3, why that's important. You probably already understand that, but we'll emphasize that with that presentation.
Additionally, we did increase some stipends in the compensation manual, specifically in our special education area for our bilingual folks. Bilingual diagnostician, our LSSP, our ASHA certified SLP, SLP assistant, dyslexia specialist, and art facilitator, those that are bilingual, that increase will move from $3,000 to $6,000 to match the bilingual teacher stipend that you all that we recommended last year to go to up to $6,000 as well. We also are asking to increase special education teacher deaf ed stipend from $1,000 to $3,000 to match other certified self-contained special education teacher stipends. Additionally, this year's recommendation for the compensation plan, we make no changes to our substitute known as guest educator pay. As you all remember, we did a significant increase in our guest educator pay last year, and we still are the most competitive within our area. The administration recommends that the district maintain the district contribution for health insurance at $456 per employee per month and continue to contribute $41.67 monthly, which is about $500 annually, to a flexible spending account for employees who waive health insurance coverage. Attached in your packet is also information on sign-on bonuses and retention bonuses that you all have approved already, which do not need any approval, but we wanted to make sure that we brought to the forefront that this board has already approved almost $10.5 million of sign-on and retention bonuses for staff to get staff, keep staff, and attract new staff. Those payments will be made all the way through September 2024.
Thank you. This is in response to Mr. Grant's question last month about sign-on bonuses and retention bonuses. And I just want to point out how significant it is that most of those bonuses are, well, all of them are more than the 3% of midpoint raise. So our employees have benefited greatly from the board's actions to approve those. And we'll be paying those out, as Dr. Lopez said, all the way through 2024. Our new teachers starting this year who return next year will get a $2,500 retention bonus in next September. Teachers who started last year get $2,500, and then teachers who've been with us prior to 2 years ago, they'll get the next third of their $10,000 bonus. So those are significant payments to our staff, and we're really pleased that we've been able to do that.
Additionally, you all did approve back in May the back-to-school supply allowance for classroom teachers of $300, and they'll receive that in their August 31st paycheck. So thank you all for that. Just some information for you about the sign-on bonuses in regards to teachers. This board approved $5,000 sign-on bonus for teachers. As of today, we have 195 new hires, and 132 of those are fully certified, totaling up to $660,000 in sign-on bonuses that these teachers will receive also in August, and a separate paycheck on August 31st. So, thank you. Good work. Additionally, the district's participation in the teacher incentive allotment has resulted in approximately 100 teachers receiving a bonus ranging from $4,577 to $23,368 that they will also receive August 15th of 2023. The estimated cost of the proposed salary increases within the compensation manual, excluding the already approved sign-on and retention bonuses, is approximately $3.9 million. The cost of the increases will be included in the proposed budget for the 2023-2024 school year. The administration recommends that you approve the compensation plan as presented.
Great. Lots of good work. Lots of good work. So I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Thank you, Mr. Guillory. Do I have a second?
Second.
Well, let's give that to Mr. Patton. Second. Mr. Grant, is there any discussion? No. Any comment? Okay. Mr. Davis, any discussion, comment?
Just really happy that our hardworking employees are getting compensated for their work. I wish we could do more, but just know we appreciate you guys.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well said. Mr. Vidania? Mr. Guillory?
No.
Mr. Ochoa?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. Just for my own personal knowledge, can you give me an example of some employee titles that would fall under the 301 and 302?
Sure.
It's probably in this 700 pages that we got.
So the 301 is only one set. It's our crosswalk guards.
Okay. And then as far as the retention bonuses.
Can I answer your 302 question, because I think that's an important
absolutely.
one? The 302 that's going up to $14 an hour are our cafeteria workers and our custodians.
Okay.
Nice.
The retention bonuses, do those count towards a teacher's TRS?
They do not. I don't, I'm looking for Cheryl, but TRS, anything that's a one-time payment is not included in retirement. Now, TIA does, the teacher incentive allotment, but all of those retention bonuses do not. So that's a really great question. That's a significant amount of money. It's really important to stay on track with the regular budget and what goes into teacher retirement system, because those benefits are really important to our teachers as they progress through the system and to retirement. So,
is there a legal way to those teachers that are getting closer to retirement to include that?
I don't think so. No.
Thought I'd
Would be
ask.
nice. It's a great question, but no. Yeah, I actually looked that up for someone. I went and read the manual myself, because I had someone from another district said, "Oh, it didn't count in my." And I said, "I really don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up." So I personally looked that up in the TRS manual for someone else, and it's very clearly written that one-time payments, retention bonuses, sign-on bonuses, they don't count. Yeah, it is too bad.
Mr. Patton, do you have any question, discussion? I am so thankful for all the work that you guys have done. I think it is looking at our retention bonuses, seeing the increase for our paras, seeing the increase for our staff is much needed. And I'm just so thankful for this administration trying to look out for our staff, because that directly impacts our kids. So it's just, I wish, echo Mr. Davis's sentiments. I wish we could do more, but we don't have a blank check. So, but we are definitely putting our money where our mouth is. And so we value each one of you and our staff in this district. And so thank you for all the hard work you guys have done. And with that, I will vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
And I'm sure they all thank you.
Congratulations, staff.
Thank you.
You've got a raise. Okay. Item number 10, review, discuss, and take appropriate action regarding the superintendent's salary. So this is me. The superintendent's salary, it had been, before we recently did a 3% per what we have done for our teachers and our administrators and our staff. Prior to that, sorry, let me back up. Prior to that, the last time that we had done a kind of step increase for the superintendent's salary was July 2021. So it had been, we're kind of a year behind. So we did a 3% salary increase is what we had done for our staff, and did that in January. The board approved that. And so we have caught her up to 2022, 2023, which is our last school year. So, we have another school year approaching, and the 2023, 2024 school year. So I guess I'll just put out a motion to, along with our staff 3% increase, I move that we would increase superintendent salary by that same 3% step. Okay, so Mr. Vidania makes the motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Grant, second. Okay. Mr. Grant, is there any discussion? Mr. Davis? Mr. Vidania? Mr. Guillory?
No.
Mr. Ochoa? Mr. Pat? No. Okay. Then all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. So we now have got you caught up.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And on behalf of all of our employees, I want to say thank you. This is a really hard budget year, and we don't know what's going to happen. As our public speaker said this evening with the basic allotment, and we don't know if we're going to get any more money, but we thank you for investing in our employees. These are really hard times. Keeping employees is really important to the stability of the school district. So thank you on behalf of everyone. And I'm grateful to you. Thank you.
Great. So moving on to item number 11, review, discuss dual language program update. Ms. Benson, I'm excited to hear this.
Good evening, Dr. Kincannon, Board of Trustees, and our community that is watching. We are so excited to be here with you tonight to share exciting highlights of all of the great things happening in our dual language, immersion, and ESL programs. I would like to start by introducing our incredible team members that are here with us tonight. Melissa Johnson, Coordinator of Emergent Bilinguals. Lynn Callentine, Coordinator of Emergent Bilinguals. Kathleen Rooney, Coordinator of Emergent Bilinguals. And Carmen Diaz Perez, Coordinator of Bilingual Education.
But we give you all a round of applause. Thank you.
In May of this year, the Texas Education Agency invited our English Learners Department to present to districts all over Texas and share all of the great things that Waco ISD is doing for emergent bilingual students in our dual language immersion and ESL programs. The presentation that we have shared with you is the presentation that we did for the Texas Education Agency and districts around the state on May 17th. Human-centered design is at the core of everything we do. Our team has been trained in design thinking, and we approach all aspects of our work through a beginner's mindset. A beginner's mindset is critical so that we approach curriculum writing, instructional coaching, and programming through a lens that allows us not only to examine all facets as if for the first time, but also through the context of empathy, because everything we do, whether it's purchasing resources, or developing assessments impacts human beings. If we only see things through the eyes of an expert, we miss valuable information and possibly can make decisions based on erroneous assumptions. As we talk with you today, I want you to picture a structure such as a multi-level building, a structure which we are working very hard to make architecturally sound. Every layer is essential. Our goal is to maximize supports for emergent bilingual students at all grade levels by creating human-centered programming that allows for academic and linguistic growth. It all starts at the elementary level, and like building a solid foundation for a home or building, every layer is essential. Now I want to share a bit about our dual language immersion programs and how we have embedded supports for teachers and students to remove barriers for learning. Our amazing superintendent, Dr. Kincannon, is a huge supporter of emergent bilingual programs and our students. We have accomplished so much in our quest for biliteracy with her support. Here is our first one-way dual language campus, Dean Highland Elementary. Pictured here are our students with Ms. Crisol Villaflores, one of our dual language teachers, and Mr. Ruben Moreno, one of our bilingual paraprofessionals. Ms. Villaflores was recently awarded the Bilingual Teacher of the Year Award by Region 12, and you were able to meet her tonight during special recognition. We are now going into year 3 of our scaling plan. During year 2 of scaling, we added one-way dual language immersion programming to 7 more campuses, bringing our total of Waco ISD campuses that offer dual language immersion to 9 campuses.
Huge accomplishment.
Remember the layers that I talked about at the beginning? Brick by brick, we are strengthening the program and our supports. Here you can see our wonderful dual language teachers and paraprofessionals at Written Expression Professional Development. Can you tell who the paraprofessionals are and who the teachers are? You probably cannot, and that's by design. I started out my career as a paraprofessional, and this is so important to me. Our paraprofessionals and teachers both play critical roles in learning. Now Ms. Rooney is going to tell you about this fun day of learning we have shown you here for our paraprofessionals.
So this training was so much fun. We had around 275 participants for the first training we had, and around 230 participants for the second training. For every training we do, we use the I do, we do, you do model. We had talked about Bloom's taxonomy in this particular training, and we gave them examples of how to use it. We did a few together as a group, and then we released them to do some work on their own and apply what they had learned. And the results, as you can see, were incredible. We were very, very impressed with what they had done.
If I may interrupt, I just love your chupacabra questions. That's amazing.
They had so much fun.
I got distracted reading them.
Now we're going to zoom in further. I want to take you into one of our schools. Here are some of our incredible bilingual teachers from Provident Heights Elementary. Miss Yenny Vranich is here with us tonight.
There she is.
We featured Miss Vranich in our presentation for TEA and celebrated the way she brings the Spanish language arts and reading teaks to life.
Oh.
Ms. Franich's kindergarten classroom is one of our district's model dual language classrooms. She often contributes videos for her colleagues to learn from, and next year we will be commencing instructional rounds of model classrooms as part of year 3 of scaling. After TEA watched Ms. Vranich's video, we received a request from TEA to be able to use her video to provide dual language professional development to other districts in the state. Since then, we have also received a request from the University of Texas to also utilize the video for dual language immersion professional development for districts they work with. We are so proud of you, Ms. Vranich. And now we're going to talk a little bit about our ESL programs.
So this year we started the ESL Cafe, and the ESL Cafe was a brainchild of an international club we did at one of our elementary schools before the pandemic. And under the umbrella of providing culturally sustaining practices, the international club featured new countries, their lifestyle, music, language, food, traditions, etc. at that club. So the ESL Cafe wanted to mimic this somewhat by making learning fun and at the same time embedding culturally linguistic practices in the classroom.
With their passports in hand, the participants took a voyage around the world, stopping at famous places to have a cafe or coffee chat.
So we continued on our journey, teaching new strategies and adding cultural awareness piece about the countries represented in Waco ISD, such as Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Senegal, and the Philippines.
And our last port of call was the USA, come back to USA. Each participant in the ESL Cafe received a certificate and an ESL Ambassador t-shirt. They all agreed that the training was inspirational and the I do, we do, you do method helped to make the strategies easy to implement in the classroom.
As we continue to zoom in, I want you to look at this bridge in front of you. It represents the importance of building unity and equity by capitalizing on the strengths that we all bring. Whenever you see this image in the continuing slides, I want you to picture many layers, including community partnerships, lifting up our students. This brings us to the last highlight that I want to share with you tonight. I am so excited about this initiative for our students. This initiative brings us to the most important layer of the programming structure, the layer that tells us if what we're doing, what we're working so hard on, is working. This is the student level. As you have seen, design thinking is something that we are so passionate about as a team. I have always wanted to teach our students how to use design thinking in their life and how to acquire those leadership skills that we have all acquired through design thinking. Dr. Kincannon made my dream come true last year, and this is our first design thinking workshop before you. We had 17 students from University High School complete a 3-day design thinking workshop completely in Spanish, and it was in a collaboration with Creative Waco. They completed this at the BRIC, the Baylor Research Innovation Collaborative, and the students, it's just been life-changing for them. I really want to stress that. And so for day one, as you can see, we really stress that there's a leader inside all of them. Even their posture changed on day three. They had a completely different posture. Can you tell who the newcomers and dual identified students are here? I am sure you can, and this is also by design. This highlights the importance of programming for equity. We are so excited because next year, we will be scaling the program to Waco High School. And in the summer, we will have the first LEAD cohort. LEAD stands for Leadership Education through Authentic Design. We will have a 10-day Design Thinking Academy for our high school emergent bilingual students. The image before you is very personal to me because you all know that I'm an English learner myself. It speaks volumes because there's so much that our emergent bilinguals have to offer. Often, it is hidden beneath the surface as they acquire English proficiency. That is why we plan with the potential and strengths of our students in mind, and we never underestimate them. It is founded on our district's mission to value and empower all. And to wrap up, I want to end with this poem that I will read to you. It is one of my favorite poems. My English is not broken. I did not drop it carelessly. Watch it shatter into fragments of speech, splintered words so fragile that not even the broom could locate the shards. My English is like soft clay. With hard work, I am shaping it. I am using it to create something new, a vessel in which to carry my dreams. Thank you for everything you do for our students and for supporting us. None of this would be possible without all of you, and I'm really excited to share all the things that we've been doing with you.
Thank you. I think, Ms. Benson, when I saw the picture of the newcomers and I think the ability for something to be all in Spanish is huge. There's a really profound thing that it does to a person when someone speaks to them in their native language. And I think looking at that, knowing that our a Spanish-speaking population, emergent bilingual population is growing within our district, and it just, I was looking at that picture of those kids, and I just started tearing up because I think, of my own father, whose first language was Spanish, whose family immigrated here, and just the value that that places on them to be able to speak their native language and feel not other because of that language. I think that emergent bilingual is probably the most, let me back up and say, it is so valuable to know more than one language. And most of the world knows more than one language. And that value needs to be communicated to our students and needs to be placed on our students, because I think at times, at least from my hearing stories from my father's own upbringing, where they would not allow him to speak in Spanish, and he would get reprimanded at school for doing that. And just, so I think kind of some of the maybe secondary trauma from that kind of carries over, I think, culturally. And so I think so important to place that value on students. And I'm just so thankful for your team, for educators who are obviously knocking the socks off of bilingual education. And I just think of all those kids, and I think the last line of the poem encapsulated it perfectly. It's the dreams. Their dreams. And so just thank you for all of your hard work. Thank you so much. I could not say it enough. Just really thank you, thank you, thank you.
You've got a great team,
Yes.
and
So blessed.
it's so impressive. And all these awards, y'all so well deserve.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I want to say, we saw how the students were on the first day when we talked about the leader inside of them. And of course, like many students, they were shy. Many of them didn't want to speak. And by the third day, their posture had changed. And just like we do in design thinking for adults, we had a panel of judges that heard all of their proposals. And you would have been just so proud. We had community members, we had representatives from our district, and they had the greatest presentations, and all in Spanish. And they felt so proud. They felt so proud. So thank you so much, and thank you, Dr. Kincannon, for making my wish come true.
Very well.
Thank you.
Make me cry.
Can I say something real quick? You know, I'm grateful to live in Texas and to be a Texan, but we face a culture that forces people into shadows and can create shame because of language. And I'm praying that we have the courage to help folks step out of shadows and to either offer amnesty or something creative that helps our economy. And it's beautiful to think that we might be on the cutting edge of welcoming people who deeply desire to be welcomed fully into a community. And I'm grateful for your work. Thank you.
Madam President, I piggyback off that. I just want to say I appreciate the true equity, being able to see us not only just be able to talk about bringing equity, but actually seeing it play out and seeing the real work, bringing in the community. I heard from several community members who participated in the design thinking, and it really impacted their lives in a major way. So I just appreciate the actual work that I'm seeing from you guys. It's awesome.
Ms. Benson, I just want to thank you, and you know, me being an ESL student and even through high school, seeing some of my friends that I think this will help more kids stay in school now. I know I had a bunch of friends that, you know, as soon as they were able to leave, they would leave without graduating just because of the language barrier, but I think this is going a long way.
I want to, can I just say thank you to Mrs. Benson? Took a lot of work to get here. It was a lot of structural, systemic work to build this dual language program, and it meant adding teachers, it meant training, it meant believing in kids, it meant writing curriculum. It was solid instructional work to make sure that our students get the best education possible, and that dual language program is the best model for educating these students, emergent bilinguals. So I'm just so appreciative to her and her entire team for really doing the hard work. A lot of hard work went into this, so thank you. And it's going to pay some results. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Guillory.
So I just want to say I love your heart and your passion comes through. And I remember seeing this roll out of Dean Holland. And when my daughter first came into the district, I tried to put her into something like this, but it wasn't offered. So it's awesome to see this take off. I remember when I first met Ms. Varanik, she was really quiet and really, really shy. But the thing that got her talking was when we talked about the students and teaching. And then you saw her just open up and just really start to shine through. And I see that out of each and every one of you, and we appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Good work. So thank you. Can't say it enough. Thank you. Item number 12, review, discuss House Bill number 3. Ms. Cox and Mr. Williams. Chief. Where is he?
He's coming.
Hiding. There he is.
No one wants to follow that amazing act.
I know. I literally was in tears.
Yes.
Just
Good
amazing.
evening, Madam President, Dr. Concanon, trustees. We are here tonight, myself and our very own Texas State Regional Director for Police Chiefs and Schools, and to talk to you. This really is intended to be a discussion of House Bill 3 and where we are at in planning and what we're watching and listening to. So House Bill 3 was passed in the regular 88th session. According to TEA's count, there are 1,200 public school districts and charters. There are over 9,000 campuses that are grappling with what we're about to discuss. House Bill 3 requirements to address student safety include education service centers acting as a school safety resource. This is something, at least in Region 12, that we have been blessed that Region 12 has been doing this for a long time. I'll tell you a little bit more later about a big training that we're having on Monday and Tuesday with our Region 12 partners. House Bill 3 also requires employees who regularly interact with students to complete mental health training programs. It requires mental health training for personnel who work directly with students, and our student services team are tackling that. What we're here to really talk about is this component. Requires at least one armed security officer to be present during regular school hours at each campus. And the words up there that define a security officer is exactly how it appears in the bill. Sure. Yep. A security officer must be a school district peace officer, a school resource officer, also what we call an SRO, or a commissioned peace officer employed as security.
So to break that down a little bit for you, the school district peace officer is basically what all of our guys are. To be an actual school resource officer, there's a little bit more training that is required for that. And the commissioned peace officer employed as a security, that would be your guys who does the off-duty security that are employed to come and help out on the campuses.
And they have to be licensed to carry a weapon.
I'm sorry?
They have to carry a weapon, right?
Yes, they have to be police officers, and they're hired in a capacity as a police officer, but it's just on a contract basis, so they're paid an hourly wage for being there on the campuses.
The resource officer versus a peace officer, you said it requires more training.
Yes,
So
for a school resource officer, you have to have a little bit more training for a school resource officer. It's mandated by the state that all police officers that work on school campuses have to go through a peace officer training. And a lot of that more consists of a lot of mental health and kind of helps with a little bit more of understanding the education component of it. So, it helps. It helps a lot, with having an understanding versus, working on the street. It's a little bit different, so it helps. It helps the guys with the rough edge be able to coddle. Okay.
So included in the bill is some funding. It adds that on the bottom there, you'll see the total of what we are projected to receive for this school year that just wrapped up, the 2022-2023 safety allotment total. What's coming in with House Bill 3 is the additional $15,000 per campus allotment. We're not anticipating Guama and Waco to be a part of that. They also increase.
Yeah, and the reason that we don't anticipate that is because they don't have their own individual campus codes. They're students of Waco High School or University High School, and so we believe that the state will only provide the funding per campus code.
But for our planning purposes, we consider them a campus, and they are part of our totals and our planning. So,
Are we going to get any funding from those other school districts that we provide the service to?
Not unless we add it to the MOU or interlocals that we have with them, but we haven't talked about that at this point. They're not getting much money either. There's really, they're getting the $15,000 per campus just like we are.
and with some of them having even less campus codes.
They have, yes, coming from smaller districts and such.
So the increase in the school safety allotment For the whole district is $2,777?
Yes, sir.
That's like 4 window glazings. Seriously.
I'll take your word for it. It's not much. So the total new funding is there for you, and I'll let Chief go into the next.
Well, as of right now, what we have 14 SRO positions in our department. They consist of the officers that are assigned to the campuses, our patrol officers, and our K-9 unit. I have 3 command officers. It's myself, Lieutenant Freeman, and our newly promoted Sergeant Martinez. And we have 13 security guards and our 2 TCOL certified telecommunicators. We also have 20 crosswalk guards as well. But the thing is, what we're asking is to increase that number because, next slide. We're asking to increase that number because we need an additional 12 police officers so we're able to meet the requirement of this mandate.
How many SWAT cars do you have?
Right now, we have 14. But we're going to make that work. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to be a department of innovation. Okay. We're going to have to figure that out, you know.
Even if we could find 12 new officers and hire them, we have that expense, but cars are really expensive too.
Wow, I didn't need that.
There's, you know, that would be.
The expense it's a really high expense, but we're going to work through it and we're going to figure this out. I know you see the numbers and you're probably like, wow. And, you know, we all are like, wow. But here's the thing. We're going to figure this out because our children deserve it. Okay, so we got to figure it out. And not only that, it's because they're mandating. So the question is, how do we make this happen? And, you know, we're all going to have to put our heads together and, you know, be collaborative on this approach to what we're going to do. Within McLennan County, there are actually 18 school districts. Okay, and this is what we're facing. There is 18 school districts, and there are 100 campuses in the county. Okay, now of that 100 campuses, 25% of those campuses belong to Waco ISD. So we have to think about that. You know, everyone in the county are facing the same thing that we're facing. They don't have the funding, and just exactly. And then once you start looking at the police pool that we actually have, when you look at the police pool, there's 522 TCOL certified positions here in our 7 region in our region 12. Okay, 35 vacancies just right here within McLennan County. Are Waco PD have 20 vacancies. Okay. The sheriff's office, they have 2 vacancies, but here's the thing: the sheriff's office, they're already ahead of the curve. What I was speaking with one of the deputies last night, and they were having conversations about raising their pay and offering a $15,000 signing bonus, because what they're doing is that's a strategy that they're using to make sure that they keep their people, you know, and they are. The raises and everything that you guys got us in the ballpark with where everyone is, that is so great. That is really great, because that's one of the issues that we're facing, you know, is the pay. When the other agencies are paying so much more and they're right here, you know. And not only that, one of the things that we're facing is you have to have that person who wants to work with children. Because, I mean, we could fill the positions with anyone, but is that the best thing to do? No, it's not. You can put a body there, but you have to put somebody there who cares about these children and someone who's willing, you know, to honor the oath that they've taken. But we can go grab Annie Joe and put him in a position. be a liability for Waco.
Can you tell me what T-Cole stands for?
Sorry.
T-Cole?
Yes, it's Texas Commission on Law Enforcement.
So is that just a regular police officer or is that the resource?
The T-Cole officer is all the police officers in the state. They are the governing body of police officers.
Your association?
No, well, they're the body that governs all police officers in the state. Okay, and so you have to have that certification. You have to have a certification through them.
Madam President.
Sorry, Mr. Davis, hold on one second. Mr. Guillory had a question, and then we'll go to you. Yes.
No, so how many vacancies do we have presently here in WISD?
Presently, right now, we have one vacancy.
One
With our
vacancy.
2 new hires that we hired. So we have one vacancy right now.
In Waco PD, they have 20.
They have 20.
How many, do you know how many Baylor has?
I'm not sure about Baylor.
Then DPS?
Well, actually, Baylor isn't subject to an open records request, so.
Okay. And then also,
They're not included in this total.
and then like DPS, because I know they.
Are short a little over 200.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at it.
We're actually losing one to DPS.
Yeah, and it's a shortage like teachers, as far as like with police officers. So I'm looking at it like you want to increase the numbers that we get, and then what quality of individual you're going to get with the shortages in the pool that you're bringing into the schools. That's kind of what I was looking at.
Yes,
So.
it's the same thing that I'm looking at. And, and so that's why we're asking, let's have this think tank and let's figure this out. Because we just don't want to put anything or anyone on the campus to suffice what the mandate is requiring. We do have to think about equity when we're doing this. So it's something that, we really need to all have a discussion, a heart-to-heart discussion, and let's figure this out. We have to put a plan together because we got to do what's best for Waco ISD, And sometimes the right thing isn't always the best thing to do as far as, meeting what suffices for the mandate. We could do the right thing and we could put anybody in there, but we could do something that's going to be sustainable and it's going to have equity.
My other question is you have dispatchers, and are they TCO?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Davis, yes.
I think my question is kind of echoing what Trustee Guillory just said, but what is your suggestion? So, because I'm very concerned about just putting anybody in a spot, especially because, we've seen the incidences that we went through last year at various campuses, and we have a lot of new innovative designs going on with our schools. So I feel like if ever, we need very strong police officers on our campuses. So what is your suggestion to get these people? What you feel like you're the expert in that field, so what would your suggestion be to get quality candidates for these positions?
Well, what we're doing, and basically it's what we're doing now. When we're vetting these people, we're making sure that they're going to be a good fit for what we're requiring them to do. What we're going to have to do is continue our efforts with getting out there and trying to recruit. We're going to have to reach out to the different police academies. I'm actually, I'm actually getting about a slide ahead of us with your question. You got us a slide ahead with your question, but I'll answer it. We're going to have to be sure that we're reaching out to different organizations. It's one of the great things with me being the regional director of Region 12 is being able to have that community to network with, and so we're going to be able to have that to use at our advantage as well with our collaborations with other folks, and just learning more and everything with what other people are doing with this. Yes, sir.
I got one more, and then I'll send it over. So I know with our teachers, Trustee Guillory mentioned that this was very similar to our teacher shortage.
Sure.
And I think one of the things we did kind of in a long-term vision was to start the Future Educators Academy something I had discussed with you in the past is, are we doing something, or do we have plans to do something similar to push our students towards law enforcement so that we can start growing our own in that way as well?
Yes. Well, yes, that is something. But the hardest part with that is we have a window. Okay, the window from 18 to 21, and usually that window from 18 to 21 is when we lose those children. You know, all throughout high school, yes, they're on board, but you can't be a police officer till you're 21. And so that window from 18 to 21 is where we're losing them. But we're thinking of other strategies. Okay, we do have security. Right. And I can tell you, we've had 5 of our police officers that were previously security guards, and now we've employed them as police officers. So, you know, that's an option as well. We're actually looking at one of our students who was here previously, I believe he graduated in 2019. We're looking at his background and everything now, and we're probably going to be, you know, looking at something there with, you know, maybe trying to, you know, with our previous students, grow them into the being security, and then maybe if we can get them onto security for these past, you know, that window that we're missing the ages, and then we can get them into the police academy.
For sure, because I know MCC has a really good program, so maybe after students graduate from university in Waco High, we could try to strategize some kind of partnership with MCC to keep them on their track and ultimately come into the district.
Great question. I think Mr. Patton had a question, and then after Mr. Patton, Mr. Grant. I think,
Grant had one first.
oh, he had said.
It's all right. It's all right.
Yep.
My question is, does Waco, City of Waco, do their own police academies?
No, sir, it's offered through McLennan Community College.
Okay, and how often does that cycle, how long does that cycle take?
They do 2 police academies a year, and each academy runs approximately 17 weeks, 18 weeks, something like that.
You're not a police officer immediately, though. You still have training on the job.
You have training.
Right, Mr. Grant?
I remember at the school board conference this past summer, talking about the exception of having an individual on campus who's licensed to carry. I think you're about to jump into that in this slide. That scares the life out of me. I look at you as an expert in law enforcement. I looked at Mr. Freeman and the others as somebody who is trained to know and look and act in a way that's looking at the full campus. And I look at teachers as somebody who's responsible for teaching, nurturing, loving on those students. And I just want to say that the thought of having a teacher or a counselor or somebody who's supposed to be more inwardly focused be one of those people is really scary to me. And I would rather do what it takes to fund a professional to be here, whether it's signing bonuses or salaries or raises, than to do what we can to find the exception and just get a gun in somebody's hand.
Exactly.
I think a lot of districts are going to do that because it's incredibly expensive. And there's a shortage. That to me sounds like you're setting yourself up for a bigger problem than the one before.
Yes, I agree with you. And that's why I say, you know, we can do the right thing and we can put anyone on the campus with a gun. But are we going to do the best thing for our kids, something with equity and that's going to be sustainable? You know, we have to have that.
Among your peers, not your employees, but your peers in the community, that Waco ISD police force is a desirable place to be, a place that pays fairly, or the other?
Well, the thing is, just police in general, it's everyone's just looking at the pay. And I mean, and that's what it is. It's the pay. And we're fortunate enough that you guys were able to grant us this opportunity to have more pay. So I'm thinking that's going to help us, you know.
Is it enough?
More. Actually.
Seriously, is it enough?
It's not. It's not. Okay? And the reason I tell you that is because Waco PD, they probably pay, with my guys, the two that I have just right out of the academy, Waco PD, if they were to start working with them, they would probably at least, with the new pay increase, it would probably still be about $12,000 less. That's what I mean. But here's the thing, guys, I do understand that, and I do understand the pay, but we have to remember too, yes, we want to make sure our children are safe. Okay, we really do. But we also have to understand too that we are in the business of educating children. Okay, so we have to think about those things. And the thing is yes, I do know that the guys that are jumping from place to place to place to place to place that are chasing money, we call them gypsy cops. We need someone who's going to be here, who's going to stay here. Yes, I would love for them to make the same thing the Waco PD's making, but as soon as the sheriff's office offers one more dollar, they're going to take off and go there. So that's, we got to think about equity, you know. But what we're going to have to do, and that's why I'm asking for your assistance, is we're going to have to work together, and we're going to have to show these police officers what makes Waco ISD so beautiful. Okay? We have to figure that out, and we know that it's here. You get an opportunity, to help these children with something that most of them don't get at home. You know, we get them here during the daytime. We're able to help with, offering them the opportunity of empowerment, be able to give them those choices, because a lot of these students, they don't know that the other choices that they have, and we're able to give them that opportunity to know about the other choices that they have. You don't have to do this. There's other choices. So, hey, yes, it's a big thing, but more so than anything, we needed the type of person in here in the district who has the heart, who wants to work with kids, and who wants to make a difference. That's what we need.
The personnel who qualify to serve as armed officers, in my opinion, we shouldn't even have that on the table. I'm not understanding how, I would just want to hear from anybody. Our teachers and our staff members, administrators are already under so much pressure that we've had to bring in mental health specialists to help them work through what's already on their plate. So I don't understand adding a police officer hat to the mix. I don't understand how we think that would be good for anyone involved. So I think we just have to get creative on funding to see how to get actual SROs and that people that are qualified and willing to work in this setting, because I just don't think it would be safe, not only for the staff, but for the students, for random staff members who have their concealed carry license to be armed on campus.
Exactly. So with that being said, so what we're going to have to do is, because everyone here knows, we're not going to hire 12 police officers in 13 days. It's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. So the governor's office has given an exception, and what seems like everyone is pretty, adamant that we don't need to have a school marshal or something like that. We need to have a police officer. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to come up with a plan, and we're going to have to explain to them, what we're going to do for to fulfill this requirement, what it's going to take for us to, fulfill this requirement. And so I think, like I was saying earlier, through our recruiting efforts, through corresponding with other people, everyone just going to take a huge collaborative effort of a lot of different entities to help this work. Because not only are we going to have to show that there's a pretty picture, we can all see the pretty picture here, but people don't know that there's a pretty picture here because, one, we're not telling anyone, and we're not letting them see the pretty picture. So what we're going to have to really do is we're going to have to market ourselves. And so once we start marketing ourselves and people see, hey, Waco ISD is a great place to work, not only the police department, but Waco ISD as a whole. So we're going to have to really work harder on marketing ourselves as a district to draw those people here, offering opportunities.
Dr. Kincannon, I wonder if there's a possibility of using some kind of social media or public communication campaign, one, to communicate what House Bill 3 mandates the disparity in funding and actual costs, whether it's community partners that want to step up and help cover some of that cost because they care about students, or some way that we can. I remember when it came and spoke and you made the call that we were going to require masks and the governor says you cannot require masks. We said we're going to do what we need to do. I'd love to find a way that we can communicate to this community that we have a need, not just because of a mandate, but because we love our kids, and we just don't have the funding for it. And so we need people that are going to be interested in being police officers, but we also need the community to step up and say, can you help us in this? Because we have to solve the problem, right? And I think it's going to have to be a creative communication strategy with our community, not just crunching numbers and moving money. And
That's a great point. It'd be really nice if the Texas legislature would pay for the, the mandate, right?
Exactly.
But I agree that, there may be some resources. I think there'll be some grants out there in the future. I don't know if they'll pay for officers or not. I think the issue tonight that we want to talk to you about is this alternative standard. So the ideal situation is hiring SROs who work for Waco ISD, who have our vision for kids and the heart that Chief Williams talked about. But if we can't get those in place, and we believe the law says that they have to be in place by September 1, then we have to have an alternative plan to cover those campuses. And so the way we see that is that may not look the same on every campus. And what we're hearing across, just following stories across districts across the state and networking with some of my superintendent friends, is we're hearing they're either going with the SRO, maybe they even already had SROs, or they are adding a position, a safety. I read about one district today, I think it was Del Valley, that has an armed safety coordinator on each campus, and so they established a job description and a salary for that position and put those, and they're using those. And I think primarily at the elementary school where you don't typically have SROs with, as much coverage at least. That's one option. There may be some options for just contracted services for off-duty police officers to come in and cover. So there may be some ways to cover it. We don't have a plan yet. We just wanted to talk about it this evening with you all. But we have to come up with we believe we're going to have to adopt an alternative standard to meet the intent of the law.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Guillory.
The idea is good. I think you really have to lay out the job description for that individual, and they can't have any contact with students. They have to be there to guard with the inside from the outside. Specifically, I don't think that individual should have any type of contact with students. If we go that route, if they're serving as a marshal or however you're putting it, that really has to be laid out clearly.
Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen any job descriptions that have been written by some of the districts that are doing that, but I suspect that we'll be able to get those. And so we're trying to be thoughtful and see what other people are doing, and really just having the conversation at this point and listening. I know Chief is highly connected and listening as well. We don't think pay will solve the problem because there's a shortage of officers anyway. So, we're seeing that with teachers as well. Pay is it's just not the answer in all cases, although it's nice. And we very much appreciate the board. You raised the officers' salaries to 100% of market based on the information that TASB provided us from comparable school districts. So that's kind of where we are. We wanted you to know that. We want your feedback, and I'm going to ask Mrs. Cox to say anything that I've forgotten in my rambling there.
Is it possible to throw a Hail Mary at the legislature with whether it's Association of Superintendents or the TEA or the TASB and just do a social media campaign that says, you're still in session, you're asking us to do this and you're not paying for it? Because the only way to get the money is going to be for the legislature to make a decision, and they're not finished because vouchers haven't been passed yet. And so I wonder if there's a way through a network that already exists to say, let's stand up to this in a way that's vocal to try to get some money from the legislature.
We're certainly participate with professional organizations. Texas School Alliance is our big one. But you all have a voice with the TASB as well. I know we have a delegate assembly coming up, and that can certainly be an issue that TASB brings forward. I don't know how much traction we're going to get. I think this bill is pretty much done for this legislative session. I don't see them going back to that, but I think we need to be very vocal about it and make sure that everyone understands that this was an unfunded, mostly unfunded mandated that was pushed down to school districts. And so it's just going to be a challenge for all of us, and in a really bad time too, because we didn't get any help with basic allotment that would even have helped us with just the teacher salaries that you approved.
Don't you think that most districts are going to have to go for, excuse me, are going to have to go for some exemption? You said there's 13 days to. So don't you think most of the districts are going to have
Sizable districts
come up with
I do.
some kind of
Alternative plan. I do.
not exemption, but alternate?
Madam President? I think my concern too with the marshals is the training that they will have. I don't want my kid at the school with the marshal. I'm gonna just be honest. If they're not trained as a SRO would, and I think I've heard probably 100 times during this meeting, equity. That's what we keep saying, but I'm hearing that we won't be equitable when it comes to protecting our students. So that's a concern, and I know that's not your fault. I'm not saying that, but I think we just have to be really thoughtful when it comes to the training of whoever this marshal or whatever we're going to call it will be. The training that we're requiring for them to go through needs to be extensive so that our students are protected. And I want to agree with Trustee Guillory. This person's sole role to our district should be to be the marshal. It shouldn't be a behavior person, shouldn't be an administrator, shouldn't be a family support specialist, anybody who is forward facing with kids. I think this should be their only purpose on campus.
Well, go ahead. Just, we think if we could have school resource officers at every campus, we could do some pretty amazing things for safety, really, with safety training and just, practicing drills. And so I think we could really enhance our safety if we could find the right people, but that's the challenge. It's not likely.
I would rather thumb a finger than try to throw together. I'd rather say we can't do it than to try to come up with some crappy excuse, some plan that just appeases the state. I would much rather just say, I'm sorry, we cannot do this, and see what the governor's going to say, than to try to come up with some plan that's haphazard, that's quick, that's
Again.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's an option.
Well, guys, look like we're back here again. With the
What?
disagreement. Look like we're back here in disagreement again. Yeah,
We've
mask or
been
not.
sued before.
We've been down
By
this
the-
road before.
By the AG. though.
And
But
the
I would-
media cycle changed, so
Yeah.
I will say I agree, though. I think we ultimately have to make the decision that's going to be best for our students at Waco ISD. Whether whatever the mandate is or whatever the House bill says, I think we have to make the best decision for our students. And I don't think throwing anybody in a role that is so vital. Protecting them is one of the most important roles. I know our education is our main priority, but safety is right there. We need to keep them safe as well. So I agree. I don't think we should just throw anything at the wall and see what sticks. I think we protect our kids to the best of our ability.
I think, if you'll let me interject, I do think, Mr. Davis, sorry, were you finished? Yeah. Um, I do think that's what I hear from you, Chief, is you are going to network far and wide using this regional director position that you have to see if we can get the best fit. And I think what I've heard from you, so I'm reiterating, is that you want SROs. You want SROs who have some training to be on every campus. That's to the tune of close to $500,000 that's going to be pushed into come out of our budget because the state is only funding a portion of the $1.5 million that we're going to need.
No, it's more than that.
Oh.
$1.5 million is what we're, well, actually 1.6 is what we're currently spending. So
Oh,
it's
this
the
would be on top.
500,000 that we have to come up with plus the 377.
Okay.
32 positions are already now.
We already have those.
We have those, and we're looking for 12 more positions to cover some of the elementary schools and some of those, because our high schools and middle schools have some coverage. I think what I hear from you is you are looking for the best option, not just a warm body, and so I do appreciate that. I also know that there are time limitations, and I appreciate you guys in the thoughtfulness, the connections, and the networking that you're doing to really try to find, okay, what is everyone else doing? Because this is an issue, the shortage is an issue not just for Waco ISD, but for the entire state. And so I really appreciate the thoughtfulness that you guys are doing. I know that you hear from the board. I had to lean over to Trustee Guillory, and I was like, school marshal? Is that like a marshal? And he was like, no, it's a person. I was like, oh, okay, no. You know, and I think I hear that from you also. You don't just want a person. So I think that is, we are in full alignment with that. We don't want just a person, a quote, marshal. We want someone with training. And so just thank you for your work. I know it's going to be a mad dash to try to figure out, and lots of hard work right before school. So we appreciate it. We appreciate all the work that you've done already. And
We'll come back with an update.
great. Are there any further questions?
Can we ask Peter what our vulnerability is to say we will fill the position when we have a person that's acceptable to fill the position, until then we will be defiant?
Here he comes. Yep.
I want to hire everybody we can, up to 12 that fits the position, but if they don't, I'd rather.
Especially if we're showing good faith effort. What, what's going to happen?
Uh-oh. Pete's going to tell us we're going to get sued again, but Pete, I'll let you answer.
I don't think that school districts are going to get sued by the state over this. I don't think that's going to happen. You have to remember the mask mandate was an entirely different deal. That came down as a result of GA 38 and the governor's, now the Supreme Court says actual authority, that he really did have that authority. This is completely different. The legislature's passed this. There is no authority, as far as I know, of the governor to do anything with regard to this statute. The sole authority to claim an exception rests with this board. If you don't claim an exception, the board's obligation under the statute is to be in compliance by September 1. Good faith isn't in the statute. Happy feelings and well wishes, and that's not there. There are no specific penal provisions in the statute that says that if a school district doesn't meet this piece of the statute, remembering HB 3 is a lengthy bill, and there's a lot of other things in there besides this requirement, a lot of other things. And there are no provisions in there that address not only this one, but all the other things specifically, and says if a school district hadn't done this, like the mental health training requirements that are in there's a bunch of them. There's nothing that says if you haven't done that, here's what's going to happen to you. What it does do is it gives the commissioner the authority to act in the same manner that the commissioner has under Chapter 39, 39A, basically that you're not doing as a district what you're supposed to do with regard to legal requirements. They come in and they remove this board and they put in a board of managers. Now, it doesn't say that in the statute, but y'all know in terms of the accountability system, that's what ultimately happens, and ask Houston ISD how that fight went.
And the expectation would be that that appointed board would have better luck hiring police officers in a state with a lack of police officers.
Angelo, I told myself if I go up there and talk, I'm not going to be political or editorial about it, and I'm going to violate that just momentarily and say, the board needs to understand this statute, my opinion, not speaking for anybody other than me right now, okay? Just me. This statute is about simply political drama and play. Those folks had $33 billion in extra money. If they think that student safety is important in this regard, they had plenty of money to fund it and to provide a meaningful timeline for districts to come into compliance with this kind of requirement. When you step back and you look at the number of campuses across this state that don't already have this, and it's not just ISDs, it's open enrollment charter schools that have to meet it also, and you do the math on how many of those there are, and without regard to getting into things like Guama and Guaca, and do they count or don't they count, and what's a school day, and how long does the commissioned peace officer have to be there, it's an impossible lift. And Dr. Kincannon's statements about the board having to look at claiming an exception, at least for the short run, I think that's realistically what you've at least got to look at. It's up to this board whether you decide to do anything or not. So I don't know what the commissioner will do to a district that over time doesn't either meet the requirement or claim an exception and come up with an alternative plan. I don't think September 1 is a Friday, right? I don't think and then that Monday's a Labor Day, right? So I don't think Tuesday, the first real business day after September 1, the commissioner is going to go about shutting down school districts that haven't met this requirement. Number one, they're not even going to know who they are at that point, right?
No offense to Mr. Hoover back there, but the newspaper's gonna have a field day with that.
Well, I think all the media, and understandably so, and no offense to Mr. Hoover either, right? But understandably so, I think that they already are wanting to know what districts are doing about this, and everybody's going to want to know what districts are doing about this. It's certainly a topic that is near and dear to the heart of everybody, student safety. I get that. I'm no different. It doesn't change the fact that, if this board had the money, the district had the money, and the board had the will to say, we're going to pay these people $100,000. Maybe we could hire them, but then what do you do when somebody says, well, we'll pay you $105,000? I mean, a bidding war is not helpful, and there are a finite number of folks in the state of Texas right now that meet the requirements this guy has met and is there. I don't know what that math works out like, but I bet there just simply aren't enough to go around to meet this requirement. There just aren't. And for all those districts that are saying, we want to try to meet the requirement, and I think all the districts would want to try to meet it, but not everybody's going to be able to meet it. Most are not going to be able to.
And that's where I think we've got to spin it and say, forget what the district's going to do, what's the state?
Well, I think the legislature, when you look at how the votes came down on this bill in terms of the House and the Senate, I think they've spoken, and I don't know that you're going to get them to change. I mean, number one, it's not on the call of the governor for the current special session they're in, right? I mean, it's not, and I don't think the governor is going to call them back and put this on any list of permissible topics for a special session. I don't know if I've answered the question, but.
You did a great job.
He did.
There's nothing written into this House bill that does the punitive for a district that fails to meet it come September 1, to your knowledge.
Nothing specific. I mean, you know, we all know, as an example, if you're driving down the road and you're exceeding the speed limit and the officer pulls you over and writes you a ticket for that, we know what the possible consequences that are before you ever get pulled over for the ticket.
Right.
We know what those are. So when I say there are no specific penal provisions, there aren't. There's some general language about, for the House Bill 3 in its entirety, giving the Commissioner of Education, right?
Remove ineffective boards. Right.
I'd rather lay my job on the line than just do something stupid. I mean, I would rather just lay down and say, take me off this board and find somebody that's gonna solve your problem than to just.
Is that what you want, someone that can come in and say, oh, I'll solve that problem? That's no problem. I mean, that's what scares me. It goes back to the type of officers we would put in the school. And that's, to me, what is, and Chief, you're a good man. You really are. And I am ashamed that the state has put this on you. For me, those TEA numbers that we got, they're not going to be the same when we get them again, because what they've essentially done is caused a bidding war. And your officers, I don't blame them. They've got families. If someone says, I can double your salary, I mean, are we going to be upset that they go? I mean, maybe we'll be upset, but we'll understand it. They shoved a solution on you that caused more problems. And it caused more problems for every district
In the state.
that's not wealthy
Yeah,
and can't afford it. And it really bothers me.
because there's not enough, regardless of how wealthy your district is. There's not enough people.
Yeah, there's just not enough police officers. I think my concern.
Say is, Chief referenced this in a different context. I'm going to say it in a slightly different perspective. I'm not a commissioned peace officer, okay? But SROs, there is additional training required, but the other piece of that is that there are lots and lots of women and men that are commissioned peace officers that are great at their jobs and love their jobs, but you know what they don't want to do? They don't want to be an SRO, because that's a completely different role for a law enforcement officer than being a police officer for another kind of agency. It just is. And so it's not just a function of how many commissioned peace officers are there. It's how many of those officers want to go to work for a school district. Whether they're technically an SRO or not, you're still going to be, under this bill, putting them during regular school hours, whatever that means, on a school district campus. Yeah, and also whatever that means, right? Because neither of those things are, it's not defined either. Right? So.
We'll keep listening. We're going to keep listening, and we'll come back to you and continue the conversation. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I just want to say, let us know how you can help. I don't think more dollars is going to solve the problem, honestly. Not when we have people out there with deeper pockets. So you, Dr. Kincannon, and Chief, you're going to have to get very, very creative. I don't know what that's going to look like, but I'm confident you can find a way.
One last question, Chief. Going from a regular police officer to an SR, you said it's additional hours.
Yes, sir.
How many? Or how long of additional education?
20 hours is what they mandated by the state now.
Is that 20 clock hours or okay? So roughly a week, they could pass the training and pass. I'm assuming there's
The
a
requirement is actually,
certification test.
the certification would actually, they could do it in 2 days.
So if you were to find an additional peace officer and you felt like they could be an SRO, they could do it in 2 days and pass the certification.
We have 180 days window to get that completed. So that's,
180 days?
yes. So basically, if you look at it, that's an entire school year to get that requirement completed as an SRO.
Does it require a mentor?
No, sir.
That may be the step. Look for some regular peace officers that you think have the potential, and
Yes.
we get them certified
That's the problem.
as SRO. Well, everyone's going to be looking for it. I didn't know the difference between a police officer and an SRO before tonight. So forgive my ignorance, but then I thought, like, when you said additional training, I was like, oh, they got to go back, to another police academy for, several weeks.
What we're missing is the mental health component.
I think the significant thing that Chief Williams has done prior to this bill was because we were already struggling to fill positions, was to identify security guards that he could grow into SROs, and he's done that. I can't recall the total number you've done that with, but we've paid and helped those officers be able to get their certification and come back and work for us, or security guards. So that's been the best thing that I've seen work so far in our district. Growing our own, imagine that.
Please keep us up to date, I guess, on what the penalty will be for us if we don't.
Not that we want to break the law or anything.
Important. We just because Trustee Ochoa mentioned the fact that we don't want random people coming in and just putting random bodies in there because we didn't. So I think it is important for us to just get regular updates on what that penalty might be if we can't comply to these mandates.
If I had to guess, I'd say it'd probably be a fine. So you fine the districts that can't afford to pay for the police officers.
Thank you guys so much.
It's a hard one. This is a hard one.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, going on to, sorry, I just moved my thing. I think it's announcements. Next.
Mr. Hoover, you have your story for tomorrow.
Type some week in advance.
I do think the trip is one of the media requests that Alice and her team have been juggling. We've heard, I think, from almost every media outlet this week asking about it. So we're just telling them of all the great work we're doing, trying to hire 12 SROs, and the great sign-on bonus that you all approved earlier for $5,000 for new officers. That's our plan for now. Thank you all so much for engaging in the dialogue. It's a really busy time in Waco ISD. The district is abuzz. Student registration continues for the 2023-2024 school year. We'd encourage families that haven't already gone online to be sure to reach out to your campus. Campuses are offering all sorts of in-person opportunities to come get help with that. As I alluded to at the beginning of the House Bill 3 presentation, do not be alarmed if you see law enforcement presence at UHS next Monday and Tuesday. Our amazing student services team and safety teams have partnered with Region 12 and the National School Safety Experts, the I Love You Guys Foundation, to host a 2-day standard reunification method exercise simulation training for school district personnel in Waco ISD, along with law enforcement and other community partners from across the area. Region 12 sent out an invitation to all districts in their region. So we're expecting a good turnout at UHS. Again, that'll be Monday and Tuesday. New teacher lunch or orientation is also next week on the 1st and 2nd. All teachers return on the 3rd. And as Dr. Kincannon told you, Family Fest is next Saturday, or a week from Saturday, August 5th. And we're at that single location at UHS. Meet the Teacher Nights are coming up as well. We have middle school on August 9th, elementary on August 10th, and high school on August 11th. And the first day of school is August 14th. Specifically for the board, we have the opportunity to meet 3 times in August. There'll be a special board meeting on August 10th where we'll get to continue the conversation on House Bill 3 and other important topics. Team building meeting on the 17th, regular meeting on the 24th. Jumping back to that team building meeting on the 17th, We will be at the new GW Carver and would like to move that time up a bit to 4 p.m. Please let Dr. Kincannon or I know if you have a concern about moving it up to 4 p.m. The reason why is because Waco High takes on Grand Prairie in their preseason matchup at Paul Tyson. Kickoff is set for 7 p.m. Again, that's for the August 17th team building at GW Carver. We'd like to start that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, does anyone know if that's a problem for them? 4 o'clock, can we make that work? Okay, thank you.
So not to be left out, UHS plays that Friday night at Waco ISD Stadium versus Joshua at 6 p.m. And that's just scratching the surface while it's going on. Look forward to seeing y'all a lot in August. Thank you.
Thank you. Lots of great stuff happening. I'm really excited for the beginning of the school year and super excited that our staff is getting a raise. With that, we are adjourned.